All right. Hey YouTube, I'm Lucky, and in today's video, we're going to do a little deep dive and analysis into, we've got weapon crafting here, shaping weapons. We've got our first look at this. This is a video from a Game Informer article that came out today, along with the Vidoc. So we're going to go ahead and break this down together. So let's go ahead and get this started, because this is some pretty interesting stuff. All right, you're going to be able to shape a weapon in the exact way that you want it. Not every weapon, just some weapons. So we slowly approach the Lego blocks, click shape a weapon, and here we are. For this example, they use a rocket launcher. It's the red herring rocket. And you can see right here, we're going to first pause it. We've got the empty frames socket. You'll be able to place there's a bunch of different frames here, but they're all adaptive. It's the same symbol, and if you slow it down frame by frame, he actually scrolls over the second one here. And so I thought for a minute, I was like, what if you could actually pick the frame, because there's a frame that the precision frame gives you tracking, right? You would just end up, everyone would pick that for rockets. You'd have free intrinsic tracking, but that's obviously not the way it works. You don't just get to pick that frame. This is just the reworked way they're doing masterworking, essentially. And so this will give you the adaptive frame, and then as you see, as he scrolls over this, it says right here, requires weapon level 7, and it gives you 10 blast radius with this as he scrolls over the second node here. This weapon will earn an additional minor stat boost at level 20. So I don't know what minor stat boost that would be, how much more that blast radius that would add to it. That sounds pretty interesting to me, and definitely pretty cool to see, some enhancements to these frames, the adaptive frame of rockets here. So next up, we're going to go into the barrels section. So empty tube socket, and they go over all, obviously, the normal barrels that you pick for the rocket. And right now they only have 2 options. There's nothing too crazy when crafting this part for a rocket. Usually you go with try to get max blast radius, max velocity, stuff of that nature. But when we get to the magazine, that's cool. You do see the impact casing is here, which is a little bit more damage upon impact, which is kind of the meta. The strongest magazine to pick for a rocket. It's not unlocked at this point in time, so crafting this red herring at the start, you wouldn't be able to do this, but eventually that would be the goal, is to get to that one, to that impact casing. So he just throws on some implosion rounds. And moving on to the next perk slot, this is where things get really interesting. We have 6 perks here, and we've seen all of these before. And then we have 6 enhanced perks, or they're technically called traits. So you've got traits and then enhanced traits, but even Bungie themselves said that they call them perks because that word just sort of works better than traits. But we've got, Killing Wind here, Ensemble, Field Prep, Quick Draw, Ambitious Assassin, and Tracking. And then you have the enhanced versions of these, which is pretty sick to see. Now, obviously, if we're going to craft a God Roll rocket out of all these options here, Field Prep is definitely going to be the best. But with only these 2 options here, we're throwing Killing Wind on a rocket. So it is what it is. And then moving on to the next section here, we have, again, the same sort of setup. We've got 6 perks here: Snapshot, Golden Tricorn, Frenzy. This new perk that we have never seen and we don't get any preview of. I have no clue what that is. Then I believe we've got Adrenaline Junkie here and Lasting Impression. And then the enhanced versions of these, which would be really sick. Of course, out of all these here, the best option for this one, at least in the current sandbox, is Lasting Impression. So we could have a Field Prep Lasting Impression rocket that you could just craft, which is like a really strong rocket. And that's pretty crazy that you would just be able to make a rocket like that in the game instead of having to go out and farm for it. He slaps a little Golden Tricorn on it, and then you can see it unlocks this area right here. I don't know exactly what this slot is for. I imagine this is just the cosmetic, maybe. And then he finalizes the shape of the weapon. Ta-da! Weapon is shaped. The rocket is formed. Now you've got the red herring rocket drops for you. You can see it's got this little red symbol in the bottom left corner. Not exactly sure what that means, but it would seem like that's probably just it's a weapon that was shaped rather than found in the real world. And then you have this right here. That's probably the origin trait, is what that perk was. It just randomly drops and lets you know that the origin of this was shaped. It has all the perks on it as before. It can put on a weapon mod, the adaptive frame, etc. There is a little note right here. You can't quite see this on your screen because my big head is in the way. But there's like a date. Let me see here if I can move this. see there's like a date TD 3/5/2022. So there's like a date by which the weapon was made. So it kind of adds a little unique signature to the weapon. Seems pretty interesting to me. And that seems like it in terms of weapon, right? Crafting and forming right here. Seems pretty interesting. Definitely exciting stuff. Obviously, not all the weapons are going to be available to do this with at the start. I saw that list. The list didn't even have a hand cannon that you could formulate at the start from that preview. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What you think about shaping weapons, and what weapons are you excited to be able to shape? I don't think they're trying to take away. I read a few articles. They're not trying to take away from the aspect of loot grinding and drops. They're just trying to create an alternative route to making weapons. And you also need to keep in mind that this is not like easy. Like they're going to make you have to grind and level up a lot of different things. So it's like you have the option of RNG for weapon drops or time consumption in terms of grinding up all of these perks and, you know, beating all of these resonance siphons and stuff in order to level up to get this, you know, presumed god rolled rocket, right? The god rolled rocket would be those perks that we talked about. So that's a wrap on this video, though. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy. Smash the like button, and credit to Game Informer. The article will be in the description below. See you in the next one. Later.